Well, a very good morning. Thanks for clicking on to the Thursday edition of Vogan's European Outlook. I appreciate this is a very poor representation. You're having to kind of squint to the left-hand corner of the screen here, but this is the current Northern Hemispheric snow cover. A dramatic increase for the month of October across Eurasia, and that is going to allow the Siberian high to strengthen a lot quicker than normal. And we are also seeing the cold continuing to drift westwards here as high pressure is stacked up across the northern hemisphere. One thing I want to draw your attention to is the lack of sea ice over the Europe side of the Arctic at the moment, and that is something that I'm paying attention to, and this is going to be entered into the equation of the winter forecast because we've seen a tremendous amount of blocking here across Scandinavia, across northwest Russia. We've seen heights at the surface in excess of nearly 1,060 millibars, which is exceptional for October. This could all be an indication, folks, that we're going to see the winter blocking high developing in this region here. When you've got open water here in the Arctic, the atmosphere tends to feed back to above normal pressure. We're seeing a weak polar vortex. We're seeing an unusual split in that vortex, which you don't normally see this early on, and that could be a direct consequence of the open water over the Eurasia side of the Arctic, and also the enhanced snow cover across the bulk of Siberia now at this time of the year. So let's look at the GFS ensemble here, and you can see here this is the hemispheric view, and I want to show you how the high pressure, how this pattern evolves over the next week or so, because like I say, we're seeing now that snow cover continuing to expand westwards. Bear in mind, folks, this is crucial. It's still only October. We're not even in November yet, and we're already talking about significant snowfall and snow cover, and that is going to allow the cold air to start to build quite significantly over the hemisphere. The fact that the vortex is weak suggests to me, folks, that it will be easier to break this time. Last year at this time we had a very strong polar vortex, and therefore it was very difficult to shift that, weaken it, or split it. But when you've got a weak vortex, you're already seeing a split at the moment. We're seeing the amount of snow cover across Siberia. We've got the open water within the Arctic, which suggests to me that later down the road, as we press into the cold season itself, you may get that high latitude blocking becoming more favourable. It doesn't necessarily guarantee severe cold here across the UK and across Western Europe. The Atlantic sea surface temperature profile is going to hold a lot of keys here as we go forward. But look at the potential, look at what's going on here with regards to this model here as we go into the early part of November. So Moscow, Kiev, cities across Eastern Europe have now seen their first snowfall as of this morning. You can see here as we skip through the loop here, high pressure building over the UK. So we've got a mild southwesterly airflow. We're seeing temperatures upwards of 19 degrees across the southeast of England here. So nothing cold, but you've got that cold air. There's the trough now starting to show up over Asia here. Over Eastern and Central Europe, while we've got a nice area of high pressure sitting planked right over the British Isles here. Now you've got the trough over the North Atlantic. You've got the ridge over the UK. That is a positive NAO signal. But we're paying attention also to the high pressure that's building on the north shore of Greenland here. We're watching also the trough as this ridge of high pressure starts to merge into this area of high pressure over the north of Greenland. That trough should pull westwards here, and that is exactly what we're going to see as we leave October, begin the month of November here. Now watch carefully that area of troughiness here over Europe. Notice how it starts to slide underneath this this merging area of high pressure here. Is going to also start to see the high pressure building more and more towards Greenland here. It's a slow process. We go right through next week. We've still got the influence of high pressure, but I think towards next weekend, that is when we're going to start to see a colder pattern starting to evolve. Still early, still only early November. The cold will be substantial for the time of the year, but we're not going to be talking about January level cool, so I don't want to be accused of hyping this up. So watching the pattern and recognizing what the atmosphere is telling us here, this is very, very important indeed. But you've got, of course, building cold over Asia, over Eastern Europe. That cold, as the high starts to build towards the north, slides underneath, we're going to start to see a colder weather pattern developing here. So this is out towards, say, next Friday. You can see here, look at the position of that area of high pressure. Look at the trough. We've got a draped all the way from Eastern Asia all the way towards the west of Europe here, underneath the high pressure that is starting to build over the top here. So there's your negative Arctic oscillation, there's your negative North Atlantic oscillation. And the thing that I would love to know, is this the atmosphere telling us what's going to take place in the cold season? It has happened before. We'll have seen this in October, in November, and then it's flipped completely. So there you go. We'll wait and see what happens here. But that is a very, very interesting weather pattern for the first week of November here. Let's have a quick look at the temperature anomaly here, because this really tells the story as well. This is quite interesting to see, because you've got the cold air over Asia drifting westwards as we go through the chart here. Just give me 2 wee seconds here just to kind of get my maps organized here. But this is an exciting weather pattern, folks. For certainly for the last 2 to 3 years, we have not seen this type of setup, and also we have not seen where Europe has been cold and North America has been warm. Past few years, it's been opposite. Europe's been warm, Eastern North America. Now, take aside last year. Last year was an exception to the rule, of course, but we've not seen this in quite some time here. So could the blocking, could the cold be more favourable to our side of the pole compared to North America? Or maybe it'll be an 0910 once again, where you get both sides of the Atlantic seeing a cold pattern. But look at this here, right? This is for today. Look at the warm anomaly over the Arctic region. Look at the cold over Eurasia here. So this is interesting. As we skip through the loop, yes, it's nice and warm across the UK and across Ireland here, even across Scandinavia, even across central portions of Europe. But as we go through the loop, you see how these purples represent very cold compared to normal. Bear in mind, this is a cold region here already at this time of the year. Watch how that progresses underneath this positive here anomaly. You can see here it starts to spread westwards here. Yes, the intensity of the cold does weaken somewhat. You're not going to get Siberia level cold over Western Europe, but look at what happens. We start to see the blues showing up over Europe, over the UK here, while the reds are over Greenland and the Arctic here. So this is representing a cold pattern through the first half of November, that's for sure here. And the eastern United States here, we're going to still see a kind of warmer pattern, but I think as we press through the month of November, that is when we're going to start to see things cooling down there as well. Do check out the written post. It will be available this afternoon, and I think I've spoken long enough, but I'm going to release this to YouTube here because I want to draw people's attention to what's going on at the moment here, because it's very exciting. It's an exciting weather pattern as we start to push towards the winter season. So that's it for today. Thanks for watching and hope you have a great day. Back again tomorrow as always. Bye for now.